Everyone, it's KIREI here for Bramble Fox, and I have a brand new layout, and I'm using one of the new sets available from the shop now. It's the So Happy set, which has the So Happy title and the matching hearts. There's also the Happy Hearts set, which has just the hearts, and who doesn't like lots of hearts? So yeah, so you got the two sets, and I'm also using Paper Snips number 71 from the March Fox box. So I've pulled out a photo here of my husband and I eating ice cream, and that definitely makes me happy. I always have ice cream on holidays. It's a bit of a thing, actually. My husband always buys me it. So yeah, we were in Australia visiting my family, and we were by the beach. So what perfect place to have some ice cream. And so the So Happy title was obviously perfect for my photo. So I've pulled out the Cocoa Vanilla collection called Happy Days, very appropriately. And I have a mix of paper pieces that I am just layering up behind my photo. And I decided to use the large sort of Word 12 by 12 paper here because it was just sort of described everything about my photo and the sort of story behind it. So, yeah, and because it's got a white background, that sort of worked okay for me, layering up lots of the brighter coloured papers above it. So, I have just some of these were just smaller paper scraps, so I've just pulled them out and I'm just sort of layering them up, getting trying to use up some of those bits and pieces that you get left in your stash. So, I've distressed all the edges and I'm just layering them all down here, obviously, and then I'm just sort of lifting the edges up like I do. It would be very unusual for me to use non-distressed paper layers. Probably should challenge myself to do that at some point, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how that'd go actually, because I just love that sort of texture and dimension that you get from distressing the edges and lifting them up, tearing them slightly, that type of thing. So anyway, just making sure everything is obviously nice and straight. Couldn't possibly have a wonky piece of paper on my layout. And then I can get my photo stuck down. So as always, I tend to use some foam pads at the top edge of my photo, and then I'll keep it flat at the bottom edge, mainly because you're often adding embellishment clusters around the photo to the bottom over the top, whereas at the top edge, I'm tucking embellishments behind. It doesn't always work like that. But yeah, that's sort of usually the way. So, and then I've got this strip of coloured hearts, which I know I'm going to add in there as well, because I love that. And then I've got a few matching pieces of ephemera here, just sort of figuring out what I'm going to use where, just pulling out some of the little word banners. And then I've got these are some of the paper snips I'm bringing in as well. So I've got the little teal tag, I've got the butterflies there. And then I think I've got some word phrases here and journaling um, pieces, but I don't end up using those. I do use the round one, so I've got the little DIY epoxy flares. They've already got the little clear epoxy piece over the top. One of them says Our Story, and the other has a typewriter. So I do add a couple of those in as well. And then I'm bringing in some of those beautiful Cocoa Vanilla Studio florals, which I love. And I'm going to use those to create my embellishment clusters around the photo. So they really just help to add, more pops of colour and coordinate with the different layers of paper that I've already added. So I'm just placing them around the layer at the moment, working out where everything's going to go. And then once I'm happy with that, I can get started. Now, what I do tend to do, which I've done off camera, is I do trim off the wider white borders. Now, this is completely personal choice. And, I know it's not for everyone, but I quite like a bit of fussy cutting. So, yeah, so I've done that off camera. And now I can get everything placed back into where I want it and get things stuck down. What I'm doing there is that strip of hearts. I'd added foam pads to the back of it. But then once I started to place everything, I thought that's just not going to work because I'm layering more over the top. So I'm just going to stick that, flat down. Okay, so now I can start to get everything stuck down. And I'm just using wet glue because it gives me a little bit of movement for a moment while I'm sort of figuring it's all okay. So I can still move the different elements around for a moment before I'm, to make sure I'm happy with it. So yeah, so I'll keep doing that, getting all of those elements stuck down. Now, Obviously, don't forget, pop on over to bramblefox.co.uk. If you go to Foxbox, you can find out all the details about subscribing, which means you will not miss out on a fabulous collection of acrylic embellishments every month. And you've got two choices. You've got the regular Foxbox and you've got the Foxbox Plus. And that also includes the A5 stencil, the paper snips, just like I've been using here, and the 5 epoxy flare clear domes. So, yeah, all the details are on the website. So do pop on over there if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on the fabulous Bramble Fox embellishments every month. Okay, so still going with my floral clusters here. What you'll see, I do tend to do is just add a little bit of glue in the center or on the edge, rather than on the whole thing, so that I get that layered, that sort of dimension. I do tend to curl the petals and the leaves, etc. up. Okay, so just adding in the tab up here. Now, I forgot to write the date on that one, and it does say date on it, which I do afterwards, but in the photos, it still doesn't have a date on. That's fine. And then just adding the little tabs. I think I'm still playing around with where they're going to go at the bottom. And then I've got, what else am I going to do next? Oh, I've got that little orange one, which does come down to the bottom. And then I've got all those fabulous heart perspectives. Now, as I said at the beginning, the So Happy set comes with the So Happy title and the matching hearts. But you can also buy more hearts in a separate set. It's the Happy Heart set, and you get more of them. And I love all those sorts of little things. Hearts and stars work really well for me as little sort of extra embellishments that I like to just sort of tuck in to my clusters when I'm, making a layout. Okay, what I'm doing here is I was just adding the glossy accents to the back of the So Happy title, and a huge blob came out, which is why I've just used my little green tool to just take off some of that excess, and then I added it to stuck it on my hand, because that was the easiest thing to do at the time. Okay, so we're getting there now. Finishing off, just sticking down those butterflies, making sure I'm happy with where they are. It does take me a while, and if I videoed this in slow motion, it would be, in regular, not sped up. It would be such a long video, because I do take quite a long time fiddling around, making sure I'm happy with everything. As you can see here, I'm moving those hearts around a lot. But yeah, it would really be a very long video. So I do cut out elements of it because, it would be just a bit boring watching me do that. So I've got the hearts. So I've got the open hearts and the filled hearts in that sort of pretty minty green, and then in the bright pink and in the orange as well. So I'm just using a few of those around in each of the embellishment clusters. So yeah. And then I'm almost there. I add some journaling in the on that greeny paper, spotty paper, just below the photo. There was enough room there just to add it on, which was perfect. And I do add a few extra little puffy hearts that matched the perspective hearts after I'd finished, because I realised I had them and I'd completely forgotten. So yeah, they coordinate with the Cocoa Vanilla collection. And then I think here we go. Yep, still see, I told you it takes me a while. I'm still playing around with those hearts, but I think I'm almost done. So I think the final layout is coming up, and you will, yep, it's coming, I promise. It's coming up, and here we go. And then you will get some of the close-up photos where you will see the lovely So Happy title and those heart perspectives, and of course some of the paper snips from Paper Snips number 71. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the process video, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.